Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo, along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. We'll talk about what's going on overseas, but first, General, the deadline has come and gone on the Occupy Providence protesters. They've been in Burnside Park. They were given a deadline. That deadline has passed. Are you surprised now that the City of Providence, and especially Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry, has waited this long to do something?
I'm not surprised. I think what they're doing is taking the high road in reference to being able to say, I gave you as much possible warning, I gave you an eviction notice, and what I'm doing now is giving you time to digest this. There will be a point sometime in the future where they'll have to leave.
All right, he's trying to go through the court system. Is that really the recommended way to do this?
I think so. I think it's a safe way to do it. No one is ever going to say, well, you didn't do due course, you didn't do diligence to be able to use every possibility rather than physical force. So I think they're taking the right approach this particular time.
Well, you know, you got to realize that the clock has got to be ticking here. Not so much that they missed the deadline, but, you know, in 3 weeks, General, we're going to have Thanksgiving. It's the Christmas shopping season. Downtown is going to be buzzing. I can't imagine that the administration is going to want that set up in Burnside Park for the Christmas season.
Oh, you're right. And I think what you're looking at is a twofold scenario. One is the economy. Certainly you don't want to impede any possibility of people going downtown to shop. But secondly, and I think as we get into colder weather and snow and ice and so on, you're going to get this public safety issue and as well as a sanitation issue. And that has not been a problem as of this time, as far as I know, but it will be in the future. And between the economy as well as sanitation, public safety, there will be a decision that will be made. Unfortunately, I think based upon what they're saying, perhaps physical eviction.
All right, General, let's play this out. The courts say yes, you have to get out. At that point, what does Stephen Perry and the City of Providence do? He
would probably bring that notification to them once again, saying, I let you have enough time here. I told you we were going to evict you. Now we have the court saying that you need to go too. Now we can do this one of two ways. You can leave peacefully, or we can take you out peacefully, hopefully.
And how do they do that peacefully?
Well, you know, taking them out, you're going to have, no matter what you do, you're going to have someone that's going to sit down on the ground and want to be physically picked up and put wherever they take them. So you'll have a percentage of that no matter what happens. But I think, based upon what I'm hearing and seeing, the majority of people do want to have a peaceful ending to whatever the ending is.
Now, you're talking just about Providence Police, or now maybe he has to get the state police to come in, or maybe even the National Guard or something like that?
I wouldn't think it would go to the Guard level, certainly, but state police, I'm sure you'd have some presence there. If it escalates to the point where it goes beyond the capability of Providence, I don't think you're going to see a large contingent of Providence police there. I think it'll probably be a contingency plan versus right on the front end of it.
All right, General, here's the wrinkle. What happens if the judge says they can stay?
Then we need to put some better tents, I guess, or give them an opportunity, because, you know, if they are given to stay, the judge is still going to have to answer the questions of what about sanitation, what about public safety. I don't think you're going to see that, because I think the justice system understands that beyond having the First Amendment and being able to voice whatever you think, there also is a requirement to have the administration of a city worry about public safety and sanitation too.
You know, Commissioner Perry has been in dicey situations before. When he was the head of the Rhode Island State Police, the smoke shop raid took place. It turned into a violent confrontation. Do you think that, you know, not that this is the same situation as the smoke shop raid with the Narragansett Indians, but you look at this and maybe you learn from what happened the first time, or you don't want it to turn into something like that?
I think that's fair to say. Certainly, if I were Colonel Perry, I would look at lessons learned, ensuring that we have exhausted all the administrative remedy before we get into a physical confrontation, and perhaps that entered into the decision that's being unfolding as we see it. The court system, the due diligence, ample time to give them warning, and eventually, if that fails, then you get into the physical confrontation about removing them. So I think that was perhaps missing in the tribal raid.
Does this set the scene for a possible protest down the road? Because other groups can say, look what they got away with. They were in Burnside Park for a month and nothing really happened. We can go there and do that.
Very real possibility, but I'm more concerned about what happened today or yesterday, between the 2 days. You know, Bank of America lifted their debt charges in reference to the debt card. Now, they're taking credit for that. That's a scary scenario, because now we're letting an unruly not in particular in the case of Providence, but other scenarios have happened with some physical confrontation. If we allow that to happen, and the institutions and government itself tends to bend to that, that's not a good scene. That's not democracy, and I think we're getting into a real slippery slope there.
You know, there have been many demonstrations at the State House over the last several months. Governor Chafee did come out to meet them the other day. He has not come out all the time to meet with protesters. Were you surprised he met with this group?
I'm not surprised. I think if you look at the governor, his attitude has always been to look at every possibility, even though it may seemingly be alien to good law and order. He gives the opportunity for people to come and talk to him. He has an open door policy. He's met with them, and I give him credit for that. He's going to have to make a decision in the near future, which may be totally 180 from going out and saying, hi, I'm here with you. Now you have to leave, and I may have to use the state police to take you out.
Well, here's the other thing, General. State House is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, it's a city of Providence, you know, situation, but the State House is right around the corner. I can't imagine that, you know, the administration's there is going to want this to continue.
Yeah, I think you're right, you know, especially when we look at what else is going on in the State House. Right now, we're looking at all of the real challenge before us, and that's the special assembly that's going on for pensions. And at the same time, when you have this divisiveness on the grounds of the State House, precluding free access to it and perhaps impeding free access, that will certainly drive the Capitol Police to take action, and certainly the Providence Police and State Police.
All right, General, you're talking about pensions. Obviously, there's been a lot on the state level, but a lot of local cities and towns, mayors and administrators are up in arms. They're afraid that taxes are going to go up, and they're saying that their pension systems are messed up as well. If they don't fix it on the local level, you can't fix the state level, right?
Absolutely, and vice versa. You know, you can't fix it at the state unless you fix municipalities, and vice versa. You know, all that we do in this state has got to dovetail. You can't have a myriad of pension systems as we're seeing, and the one thing that's not being talked about at this particular point of any significance is the actual the liability as it relates to health benefits. We're just talking strictly pension, which is a huge task at the state level and the municipal level. And when you talk about the percentage that's going to take of municipal budgets, that's really way beyond what is acceptable levels of funding.
Well, we saw on Tuesday that the firefighters in North Providence finally came into an agreement with Mayor Charles Lombardi, so they have a deal in place. How does this play in, though, the whole pension thing, when it talks about public safety? Do you see it down the road that, hey, there are going to be more layoffs with police and fire, too, if we can't get this straightened out?
I mean, I think so. You know, when you look at all, and after all is said and done, the bottom line is, do we have enough money using our present system of taxation to support whatever we have in a particular town or city? And you need to look at public safety certainly first, with firefighters, police, and other public safety issues, and then you look at the other part of it. Unfortunately, the school systems are not part of that. And you have the Carullo Act now, where school committees can in fact sue the town or city over monies that they think they're due. So the whole thing has got to look to, can we afford this? And that'll be the decision at some point in the future, where we can or we can't. The state of Rhode Island does not have the authority to print money where the United States government does.
Bottom line, will we ever see term limits at this
I hope
point?
we do. I think there's a lot of talk about that now. There needs to be term limits as far as I'm concerned. I said that back in '06.
But how do you get legislators to put that to a vote?
Because
especially
I
ones
think
that have been there 20, 30 years.
If they make that part of their platform to get elected, which I think would be a pretty viable means to do it, then they need to follow through and make it happen. Present representatives in our General Assembly, perhaps not. But I think they'll be taken out with those that can come in with a better platform and be able to convince the people that term limits would be beneficial to the state.
And the move is not just at the General Assembly, too, General. As you know, it's the United States Congress.
That's correct.
As well. Quickly, let's talk about Syria. They are setting up landmines around the country. It's not to keep people from going into the country, but surprisingly, it's to keep people from not getting out. They want to keep their own people
exactly.
there.
And that was the same scenario we had back in East Germany and East Berlin. We put the wall around and people couldn't get out to keep the population in, because if you keep depleting population, then you have a void place, and that's, I think, what Syria is concerned about at this particular point. putting landmines in. They're saying it's to prevent refugees coming in, but I think it's more designed to keep people from going out.
Just a sign
and
of
running away
dictatorship
from.
right there.
That's correct. I think so.
Okay, and finally, the end of the NATO mission in Libya, General. What's next?
What's next is, I think, right now, the new premier of Libya is to some extent pro-West, and I think that's a good point. However, whether in fact that plays out that they would embrace and ask the United States and Western countries to go in, the same countries that took Gaddafi out will be asked to come back in and help them build the country back. That's the question that needs to be answered.
Okay, General Centracchio, as always, thank you for your thoughts.
Good to be here.
And thanks for watching.